Alright guys, long time no see. We're gonna go ahead and get directly into the title of the video, and what I wanted to go ahead and discuss today is my current drawdown that I am in. Now, most people, when they go ahead and upload, videos and stuff like that, they always, most, trading influencers, what they will upload and what they'll always post is essentially their come ups. They only share their come ups. They never share their drawdowns. They never share their struggles. They never share anything like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and just showcase essentially what I've been going through in this market, where I've been wrong, why I've been wrong, and the drawdown in my portfolio. Now, currently, I am down about 4% of my total portfolio in the E-Trade portfolio that you guys know is kind of like the content creator portfolio thing that I'm doing. It's supposed to be the actual how to turn 30,000 into multi-millions. With this account. This is the account I'm doing it on. I haven't posted in a couple, so you guys have not seen, but I basically got stopped out of my previous positions that I had. I think it was SCCO and GENX, I believe, something like that. So here's the issue, guys. I'm gonna just maximize my screen really quick. Here's the issue that I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys that I've had, and then I'm gonna share how I've actually been coming back from the drawdown, because I'm actually not fully drawn down 4% anymore. I know I just said I drew down 4%, but I'm not actually at a 4% drawdown anymore. I'm still in a drawdown, but I'm climbing out of it, and yeah, so let's just get right into it. So what happened? Why am I currently in this drawdown? Well, what really happened was the time frame in which I decided I wanted to try swing trading, right? So from the time that I had to execute taking money out of my Centerpoint account, which is the real account, into then putting a portion into my E-Trade account meant for swing trading, during that time, we had this major run up in the market. Now, my camera obviously decided to go ahead and take a shit out of itself. Let's see how many times it does this in this video. If it does it one more time, I'll be closing out my face cam. I want to make sure you guys have a face to the person who's talking, so you guys now see who I am. You guys see it in the other video. But yeah, so if this happens again, I'll go ahead, shut it off. You guys know what I look like, whatever the case may be. So I started swing trading, I think, right around here. This is the day I think I started, right? This is the day I started. Now, I fully knew that we started to get really, really overextended. Remember, I talked about our overextension that we had in the prior video, where I was like, we are up over basically like 20%, from 44 days ago, we're up 20% in essentially a month and some change. So do you think that after a 44% or a 20% run up in the S&P, right? Do you think that's just like, it's not gonna ever come down? Like, do you think it's just gonna keep on going up and up and up and up and not at least consolidate for a couple of weeks, or even maybe pull back, 5 to 8%? Like, and even if we do get, like, let's say hypothetically, right, we gotta pull back down to like previous all-time highs, which is what everyone likes to see. So let's say like right here, that's about 7%, right, from the highs. So that's what I'm kind of expecting now. So where did I go wrong? One, the market has not been kind to me, right? The market has not been kind. It's been kind to everyone who's gotten into any trades after the S&P reclaimed, what is this, the 100 daily moving average, the 50 daily moving average, the 200, all these moving averages, and it's rolled this tight rope on the daily 10 SMA, right? So it's been really kind to people who got into swings in this area. Once you start getting overextended, like the way that the S&P is getting overextended, I mean, we were talking 10 times its 50, 10 times the average true range away from the 50, right, SMA. That is incredibly overextended, right? You have things like, for example, Saxo going absolutely crazy. I mean, obviously we retraced a little bit, but look how nuclear this thing went, So, like, it was clear that we needed some pullbacks, right? We needed some consolidation, and once you realize what's kind of happening, and you get stopped out maybe 4, 5, 6 times on some swings, you start thinking to yourself like, okay, wait, Let me be a little bit more hands-off. Let me see what's going on with this market. It's clear that the characteristics are changing, right? This is what's happening in real time. And now, how do you move forward, right? How do you move forward from having a drawdown, entering a different kind of market structure, condition, whatever, right? We're entering a different market. How do you go about moving, right? How do you go about picking up swings? Well, it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing in the context of you want to be paying attention to things like Bloom Energy, right? Bloom Energy's been holding up fairly well. You want to be looking at things like AMD. AMD filled this little gap and like it undercut this gap and ripped right back up intraday here today. You want to keep this in the back of your mind because it's clear that there's some relative strength, obviously, in semiconductors, right? You want to be looking at, let's say, an NVIDIA because NVIDIA has earnings tomorrow. You want to be looking at how this name is going to react off of the earnings as well as all the other names. You have, obviously, the Soxos. You have, USO, I'm sure, has been doing very well. I mean, it's about to be essentially a new all-time high, which at what point does... I know we're gonna start getting into like tinfoil type shit, but just follow me. At what point does oil ripping up really start to break the market, right? Like, these are questions that you ask. It doesn't mean that it has to break, but I mean, dude, higher oil and gas prices is not a good thing for regular citizens. So at what point, and if, how would the market essentially react if we start seeing 180, 200 on USO? What's going to happen? You know what I'm saying? So these are things that you want to be looking at, which means, you have CL here, right? But what you also want to be looking at is like AXTI maybe. You want to be looking at like, what is it, CVX, right? Chevron. Like, look how this is starting to build up now off of this little 100 SMA tap and double bottom-ish thing on CVX. Like, clearly there's money inflowing into like oil and these gas companies, right? So this is where you're probably going to need to start looking. Where's the relative strength at in currently? And it seems like it's going to be like oil. But if we're still looking at individual names, Google's been decently well. I mean, this does look like a little bit of distribution here, right? Looks like, we're getting a little heavy around this 400 area. Look how many days we spent sort of at this 400. 1, 2, 3, down, swipe back up, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 days of distribution. Amazon, kind of coming back down. I think it's actually sub its previous all-time highs now, isn't it? Nope, it's just holding, right? Amazon is just holding that previous all-time high. Let's see what Apple's up to. Apple is... Look at it. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if Apple kind of pulls a Google, right? We're getting so we got to get a real launch over this high, right? If we don't, I'm going to start assuming that maybe there's some distributions. All right, we're going to go ahead and cut this camera. We're going to go ahead and cut this, guys. There we go. Let's cut this camera here. Boom. You guys already see my face. We're all good. Turn that off really quick. So what I'm essentially saying here is I'm saying while the market is either dipping and or moving, and consolidating for the next couple of weeks, what you want to do is you want to be tracking what companies are holding relative strength versus the SPY, or even versus, like, if you're someone who likes QQQs and you like to look at the Qs, right? Whichever one, there's no right or wrong answer, right? You want to see how this is kind of building within the next couple of weeks. Are we really getting that strong pullback? Are we consolidating? And if we are, you want to see what names are acting best during that consolidation to then rip higher if the market's going to rip higher. So what am I doing, right? How am I going to get out of this drawdown? It's kind of simple. The E-Trade swing account is no longer a swing account. I am not swinging on that account because the market conditions have changed. It is not favorable anymore. This is part of the reason why I'm in a drawdown, because the market is not acting the way that I liked it to act when it was down here, right? When it was here. It's not acting like that anymore, guys. So if it's not acting like this whole move run, up, I'm not going to participate. I'll wait, give it some time to breathe. It needs a mandatory rest, in my opinion, right? Doesn't mean it has to flush out 20. This doesn't mean it's the top. It doesn't mean any of that. Consolidate, or, give us a previous all-time high tap and then rip up after that. Listen, a 7-8% pullback is not the end of the world, guys. We'll rip absolutely back up if that was to happen, For not financial advice, by the way, nor buy or sell recommendations. The market does whatever the fuck it wants to do, whenever it wants to do it. So, anyways, that's just what I would expect, right? I would expect a previous tap to the previous all-time highs and then a rip higher. And or a consolidation. Maybe we work around here, right? Maybe the daily 20, let that 50 come up, and we just range bound for a bit, and let these moving averages build up. As soon as they build up, we get a couple of taps to that maybe 50, 100 SMA, and then we rip up again, And as that is ripping up, I'm gonna find the names that were acting the best during the consolidation to go ahead and enter on the swings, so that when this market rips, I'm already in those names, and maybe we got a couple of gap ups in favor. So we'll look at like something like LITE, right? Maybe we start, getting some consolidation around this, and then it gets some strength, and we get into that 50, and then we start ripping up. We have what is it? AAIO or AAOI? Is it AAOI? Yeah. So same with this name, or maybe we get something like, what's the other one? There's Light, there's AOI, APLD. No, that's not it. But this is one I've seen a couple of names. But kind of the whole photonics group, Tesla was showing relative strength, on this little run up that it got, but now getting kind of hammered down, right? We got under this daily 20. Now we're reclaiming it, and it looks like we want to test that 200 again. But I want to find out what name is strong versus weak, and I want to attack it, right? And that's a way that I'm going to get on my drawdown. Another way I'm honestly getting out of the drawdown, guys, is I'm officially, I wanted to be a swing trader, guys, but when the market, stops making or giving you lemons to make lemonades, and it gives you apples, you got to change the game up. So what I'm basically doing is I'm resorting to what I'm good at. What I know I'm good at, and that's day trading. So I actually shorted Saxo on this day, right? I didn't get a really, really sick move, by the way. I really didn't. I'm going to be completely honest, guys. I did not nail this the way that I should have. So I didn't get this full unwind, unfortunately. But I shorted that. I shorted UNH here, like, once it broke kind of this area yesterday, once it broke like this little bar, I got short here, got the washout, covered all of it into the daily 10. And then I also had some SPY puts yesterday. And I had shorted SPY right up here, like about right here. Right here's where I shorted it. And I covered like pretty fucking fast, guys. Here's the thing. I'm in a drawdown, and because I'm in a drawdown, I only got like about this much of the move. Just so we are very clear on how much of the opportunity I missed. Here's the thing that I'm going to state when you're in a drawdown. When you're in a drawdown, in my opinion, this is look, Lance Brightstein might say something, Ariel might say something else. I can only stick to what I know and how I get out of drawdowns, guys. The way I get out of drawdowns and I make everything back is, one, not only do I downsize, but two, I don't trade for the full move anymore. I don't trade for, like, let's say if you're shorting up here and you think it's going to touch like the daily 10 SMA or, previous day lows or whatever, I don't trade for the full move. Like, I just try to get in there and make a portion of what I've lost, and then I get out. Because what really matters, guys, when you're and guys, keep in mind, I lost like 4 or 5 trades in a row, right? I lost literally like while swinging, I lost almost 4 or 5 trades in a row. I couldn't get anything going for myself. So what do I have to do? What I have to do is get a goddamn green day, guys. That's what I have to do. Like, I don't care if, I took, 30 puts here and I covered it here and I missed out on like, I don't know, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, whatever it is, right? Whatever the number is. I don't care. What I care about is getting the green days back in, build my confidence, and prove that I'm seeing things the right way again. And then once I can see things the right way, and I also see myself getting out of that drawdown, I can always go back to that style of letting trades work out. But in the beginning, I need to go ahead and get that confidence back, right? Like, I know Lance might be like, oh, well, if you're in a drawdown and you get an an S rank setup or whatever the case may be, you still want to be able to hammer that in because it can make all of your gains, all the gains you lost back and some, right? And theoretically, I could have did that on SPY. I could have did that on SOXO. I could have did it on, I mean, I scalped UNH, so that couldn't have happened on UNH. But I could have, but I didn't. And I didn't because I just needed to get a green day in, guys. I needed to get my confidence back. Right now, I'm currently on a 3-day green streak, slowly itching my way back to even, flat. And then once I get flat, if the market's still in a condition where my swings, my swing trading analysis isn't in the right direction because SPY is, consolidating, I'm going to stick to day trading. And then once that comes back, once that swing trading market comes back, I'm going to go back into swing trading and letting these things play out. That's the benefit of knowing. Guys, you have to understand, like, I started off as a day trader, and that's what I'm already good at. So it doesn't, it's nothing for me to go ahead and make a shit ton of gains back. Like, it's nothing for me to get out of this drawdown. I could turn this drawdown positive really, really fast. And that's what I'm doing day trading wise. And I'm just staying away, not touching any swings until the moment is right, until the market showcases that, hey, let's get back into the swings. Maybe I get into one position, that position puts me up 5%, on a 10% position. Then I get into another position, and let's say I'm 4% into that, and that starts doing well. Then I'll get into it. That's called progressive exposure, which I know you guys heard that from Ariel. I utilize that same system, guys, but when I'm getting stopped out 4, 5, 6 times in a row, things got to change. The benefit is I know how to day trade. I have a legitimate strategy. Thank you to Investors Underground and Nathan Michaud for all the years that I followed him, because that's where I got my break at, right? I got my break from day trading. And just going back to my bread and butter, once I get back out of the drawdown, I'm gonna hit it running as soon as the market gives me a nice way to swing again. But that's how I'm currently doing it, guys. That is how I'm getting out of the drawdown. I'm going back to what I know. And then once the market goes back into a realm where swing trading is something that I can go ahead and easily get into again, find good positions, let it get me in, follow that progressive exposure. Then I'll go back to swing trading. But I have to be right. I have to be on the right side of these trades before I start putting 4, 5, 6 positions back on some swings, because I'm not trying to get stopped out, multiple times and then be back down in the drawdown. So from here on out, I'm going to be day trading as this market wants to kind of either range bound, consolidate, or even flush out a couple of percentage points. And that's it. That's what we're doing, guys. So I tell you guys to say this. Learn from it, right? If you already have a bread and butter strategy, right, that you're capable of utilizing, utilize it. Utilize it if the market conditions are not being beneficial to what you're trying to learn and or do. I went out on a whim and was like, all right, let me go ahead and try swing trading, and that environment's kind of gone right now. So what do I do? Well, I'm going to go back to my bread and butter, make my money back. You don't really make the money back, by the way. You just gain your trades. You like the 4% that I lost, guys, that's 4% that I lost. Like, I'm never seeing that money again. Like, I'm seeing new money now, but I'm not seeing what I lost. I'm just making, it's kind of like a recoup thing, But that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As for watchlist videos and things like that, more than likely, I will be doing a shit ton of watchlist videos. As long as I start, really day trading, I'll be doing a shit ton. If you guys, actually, we could kind of go into what I'll be looking at into tomorrow, honestly. So AXTI is something that I'm obviously going to keep an eye on. This name has been obviously super overextended. This name makes absolutely no money. It makes no sense that it came up from $1 to 100, but that's photonics for you. So what am I going to do as a day trader? How do I trade something like AXTI? Well, it's kind of simple for me. I set price alerts, right? I will go ahead, create a price alert at or above this level, which is right under the daily 10 SMA. And if it rings that, I want to go short, and then I'll go ahead and kind of do a create alert at below, create here, to see if this is going to be able to hold prior day lows. So this is what I'll be looking at, and it's as simple as that. This is all I do. You know, I want to see if a name is going to tap into some resistance, fail it, and if it does, I want to short it. Or if the name's going to go ahead and hit some support, which is also, coincidentally, the daily 20 SMA. I want to see if it's going to, you know, kind of touch that. And is it going to stay heavy under prior day lows and then lose the daily 20? Or are we going to just keep bouncing off and ranging off? So AXTI is on watch for me. Saxo is always a major watch. If you guys have not been trading Saxo, you're doing yourself a disservice. It has been on a legendary run. So what am I going to do? I'm going to place a price alert right here. I'll place another one up here just in case we get some sort of outlier movement tomorrow. I want to be able to know where I'm at. I'll put one here as well. I kind of like these lows at below. I'll do one as well, like right here. We'll put one right here as well. And I just want to lay out some alerts, guys. And notice how I always do it from the 1 hour. I pulled up a daily as well just to ensure what I'm looking at. You know, so that looks decent. We'll go into AMD. AMD 1 hour daily looks decent. This thing's been holding up relatively well. Not gonna sit here and lie. We'll put a price alert like right here. Let me just put it like right here. We'll put a price alert here. At above, create. We have the at below here. Actually, this thing didn't ring. Why didn't this ring today? Did I just add that to? Dude, I don't even know. I felt like this was just here. So I don't know why this alert didn't ring off. Or maybe I don't know. So AMD, definitely something I'm going to be looking at. INTC, always something. Let me put that actually on my watch list here. AMD over here. INTC, going to go ahead and put a price alert right up here. At or above. And this is how I'm just doing it, guys. This is all I do. I set price alerts. And I let the setups come to me, guys. I'm not rushing into anything. I don't rush into any trades, guys. I set price alerts and I let the trades come to me. That's literally all I do. And I just try to find the best names on some of these charts. You know? SPY, I like to put price alerts as well on the ETFs. I really do. Because it kind of... If I have a price alert on SPY that matches with like Apple, AMD, INTC, Saxo, whatever the case may be, I might be able to attack. You know, if I find the proper pattern and tape that I can go ahead and trade. So I like that. Actually, this thing filled this 1 hour gap. That's what it did, honestly. SPY just filled this gap up. That's all it did. This little 1 hour gap, it filled that. I like doing SPY. I guess I can tap into QQQs, do the same. So we'll do something like right here. Then we'll put it here. I'll put it right here. And then we'll put another one right down here. Below. What else is there? I got INTC, Saxo, AMD. Let's see what UNH is doing. UNH is having some difficulties at these levels here. So I definitely will go ahead and create an alert, put it here, and then I'm not interested actually if this thing has to pop. So I'll put one there and I'll actually put one here as well. See what Google's on. I know Google has some distribution that's going on here. So we'll kind of like this little spot right here. Create an alert. And this allows me, honestly, guys, to wait for price alerts to go off. That's all I do. Honestly. All I do is wait for my price alerts to go off. And then wait to see if I'm on the right side of the tape or my thought process is on the right side. Like if I'm going to short these pops, you know, up to this level, right? I have to make sure that the tape is going to follow that. So I want to see, like, when it gets to 393.89, I want to see like some follow through momentum. I want to see some lower highs versus that level. You know what I'm saying? So that is how I kind of do that. And then we'll go ahead and add one for at below. This thing could possibly actually like kind of gap down tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we get like some sort of gap down on some Google. And you know, it tests like previous day lows. This kind of looks bear flaggy a little bit. We'll go ahead and I like this a little bit. We'll put it here. I want to put this up here as well. Put an alert. And this is all I do, guys. This is all I do on my intraday trades. This is how I do it. It's really that simple. I add a bunch of alerts. I add a bunch of levels that I like. I think Microsoft was showing some relative strength, wasn't it? I got an alert on my phone. Oh, it did. It popped up. I had an alert at 4:30s. Popped up and then completely washed that out. Wow. I had an alert right here, guys, and it got alerted. It's gone. It's gone now. That's nice, man. This is what all right, so this is what I call an exhaustion. Right? This is from, you know, the IU kind of way. Right, you get your price alert to go off. It kind of maybe speeds up, comes back, and starts to fail to follow through. I wonder how this looked on the 5-minute here. Yeah, I mean, dude, pretty clean. Look at that. Look at that. That's actually pretty nice. Get these nice, you know, lower high. Just washed out. Wow, that's nice. That's a pretty good trade. That's a decent one. Let's see what Meta's been up to. What do you look like on the daily? Dude, I don't know, man. Meta looks like it could let go a bit. Meta looks like, dude, if Meta cracks these lows right here, this could be a real problem. There's gonna be a real problem here. I would not be surprised. Yeah, that doesn't look good for Meta. Meta's having some real big issues here. Some real big issues. We're gonna see some answers soon. Like that's a big problem. Let's see what else do we got. We got Saxo, AXTI, AMD, INTC. We have Meta, Google, MRAM. Did I show you guys MRAM? You can go to MRAM. Go to MRAM. I know this name is interesting to a couple of people, maybe. You know, big flush out. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a bounce on this name tomorrow. I would not be surprised in the slightest if we get a bounce. So what am I gonna do? Same thing I always do. We're gonna go ahead, create an alert for at or above. Because if it's above this and starts to hold, maybe we get some relative strength in the name. And then we'll do an at below. Right here. We'll go ahead and go on to 1 hour. Look at this. Look how that kind of, wow, how coincidental. And the daily 10s right here. So I want to get that, and I also want to put a price alert where these topping wicks are. Let's see if things can kind of get a little bit crazy, and maybe we get lucky enough to get a, you know, what's the average ATR on this? Let me see. I have it over here. Let me bring back all 4. Okay. I have my ATR window over here. So let me see what MRAM usually does on a daily basis. MRAM does about 3 points. So yeah, the chances of that's relatively slim. I don't think it's gonna move all the way up to, like, you know, that 44.90 area. There's no way. I don't even know if it'll be able to make that 40. Let's see. Let's pull up a. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know if it'll make it. If we can get a really good pop into that could be interesting. That's why I got price alerts. Let's see how that ends up going. But that's basically how I day trade, guys. I set a shit ton of price alerts on names that I like, and I wait for those alerts to go off. If no alerts go off, I don't trade. If alerts start to go off, they catch my attention. I don't look for trades, guys. I let the trades come to me. As soon as I get the alerts, I zone in. I see, are we sub VWAP? Are we over VWAP? Are we placing in lower highs? Is the tape getting heavy? These are all the things I look at, and then I day trade it. That's really it. And yet again, the whole purpose is, how am I going to get out of the drawdown? You guys just witnessed it. I am day trading now. I'm going to day trade in this market until the market can consolidate and show me that it's ready for another leg higher. And I want to be watching relatively strong names build their strength, right? I want to see names like Light. I want to see names like, you know, BE. I want to see, you know, these type of what is it? The sector, that the infrastructure for AI and these AI centers and shit like that. I want to see how those names are going to be building up. And any other relatively strong name, like if we have like Oyo and all of these other things, that's what I'm going to be going ahead and paying attention to. So that's my thoughts. That's how I'm going to get out of the drawdown. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I shared a lot of information on how to go ahead and get out of drawdown, you know, how I've been failing, and I hope you guys, at least at the very minimum, enjoyed the transparency of the fact that I am currently down. Roughly, I think after the 4%, I think I'm down like about 3%, 3.2%, something like that within the last, 3 days. And honestly, that's only because I was just trying to get some green days in. So I need to get that confidence back. I need to make sure I get on the right track, and then we move on and we'll get out of the drawdown as always. We'll go positive as always, and we will go ahead and turn a 30K account into a multi-million-dollar account, and you guys will be witnessing it live. I'm out of here. Stay safe.